Okay, we're going to see if we're back on the air now. Let's see what that happens here. And sorry about that. I don't know how that crashed out, but we're going to get this completed. And even if we don't beat it, I will make sure I email the recording to everybody so you guys get to see it all. And sorry about that. I don't know how that crashed out, but okay, so it is working. Awesome. All right, so we are back on. Hope you guys are live, and here I am. Okay, so anyway, back to what I was about to do. I'm about to get online. The first 30 minutes up, and the next 30 minutes we're going to be doing the live demonstrations and showing you about lead capture forms and stuff. And so I'm going to share my screen, and this is where I typed something a moment ago, and it blew the whole thing up. So hopefully this time it'll go, and if it don't, I'll just record a video of the last half and send it to you guys. So that'll be our backup plan. So if we did disconnect it again, I'll just look for a video training that's going to come to cover the last of this. But I'm going to try to do it live one more time. Let me hit screen share, and I will share screen number 1. Share. And go. All right, great. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. This is going to be a little slower than it normally is. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take you through, and I'm going to have to pop through several different browsers to show you things. Now, what we're talking about first is some of the email boxes that pop up. Now, for example, this is my page, and this is a slide up box. I'm going to show you that in a moment. But I talked to you about Nutrition Plus Me a moment ago. This is a site that we use for doing our product sales, and we have many different things going on here. And what we want to do is people come to the site, we send them to the site through pay-per-click, and forever we've had this little option in the corner up here to tell people if they wanted a special offer, they could click on this link and it would take them to a page where they could opt into our email list. When we did that, we actually got about 1 person per month that would actually fill this out and log into it. So it was a very slow frequency. And so what we did is we installed Sumo Me. And what Sumo Me was a set of tools that allow you to create pop-ups on the page. And so now I'm going to go ahead and you're going to end up doing this several times tonight, but I'm going to come in and clear the history. And the reason I'm clearing the history is that all of these pop-ups, they end up using cookies on your machine. So I'm going to clear the history, and that way it won't know that I've been to the site before. And what's going to happen is now when I kind of come and scroll around the page, it's going to, as I kind of read through some of the options and that kind of stuff, it's going to come up in a moment, and it's going to see that I'm here, and it's going to ask me to sign into our mailing list. So whereas before the user would have to go and actually find that link and click, now what's going to happen is there it comes. You can see that the page actually comes up and says, all right, you know, we're going to be 15 to 40% less than Amazon Prime. Don't pay too much, blah, blah, blah. And so that's a pop-up form that comes up. And what that's going to do is that pop-up form is now they can't click off the page until they either fill their email in and say, send me the pricing, or they can just click the X and continue. Now, the way this particular pop-up form is designed, it's set up so that it's not going to show them the screen unless they are, unless once they've already closed it. So here's one on my personal site, and you can see here's 20 sources that get leads now. This was a slide up form, and it's not as obtrusive. It just slides across the page, not as effective either. And that was a form done by Thrive Leads. Now, another type of form I want to show you, I'm going to pop over back here, and I'm going to go to this particular page and see if it pops up. So this is another type of form. See this gigantic form that says want genuine Herblax? Well, this is something that they call up, and they can actually give us an email. We've got a call to action, call our 800 number, or it's a scroll down and learn more. And so when they hit the scroll down, it will do that. It will scroll down and go to the website like normal, but it was an entire page that basically is a capture form, which is a type of called a landing page. Now, again, that if you take a look at that, remember I talked about the Sumo Me. Let me go and see if I can log into the Sumo Me over here. Okay, can't do it from there. Let me close that down. All right. The same website. And I'm going to do this little crown and log in. And this is the list builder. And so what this list builder does is this allowed me to come in, and you can see these are the forms that I built, and it was very easy for me to come in and then pick how I wanted to look. And all I had to do to pick different designs was kind of come through this option and pick some of the different design. And as you can see, many different ways for me to make the pop-up look. And so once I got a form and a design that I liked, of course it was popping up for me again, then it's going to allow me to save it. And so very easy to design these particular forms. And again, when I go into the overview on this thing, it's going to show you that today it's got 56 pop-ups, no subscribers today, 2 yesterday, 1 the day before, 2 the day before that, 2 the day before that, 4 this day, 3 this day, 7 this day. So these are going through, and I can have many different pop-ups. So for example, on this particular website, I've got 4 pop-ups running, and what happens is it actually does what's called A/B testing. And so it's equally serving these pages each 25% of the time. And 2 of them I have smart pop-ups, where it means it's going to pop up only when it thinks that it's the best time. And I've got 2 of them just set to pop up after 30 seconds. And so a person will never see more than 1 of these pop-ups. But again, what it will allow me to do is check what the conversion rate is on all these pages. And that way I can see which pop-up does the best job of gathering the email list. You can also come in and set display rules and say, I want to show on certain pages, not show on certain pages. And so we're using that option. And then we're also using a SumoMe app called Landing Pages or Welcome Mat. And what this is a service that does is let you come in and design some of those more larger pages like we saw, where you can come in and actually, create some large landing pages for your mobile devices and for your large devices. And these are doing the same exact thing. They're going to come in, and instead of just giving a pop-up, it's going to give you an entirely new landing page. And you're going to see the same thing through on this. As if we come in here, it's going to tell you each day. For example, this was shown 88 times and got 9 subscribers, so it's got a 10% conversion ratio. So again, this is just a tool using and the SumoMe is a tool that costs anywhere from $20 to $40 a month, depending on they do have a free version. The free version just doesn't have all the fancy features on it. Now, if you go over, I'm going to go over to jimfulford.com. And let me run on Firefox there. All right, so this is my personal blog site. This is the one that's running the webinar now, and I do lead capture on this one as well. And I use a different service. I use a service called Thrive Themes, and I love Thrive Themes because Thrive Themes is very much makes it easy to write really nice conversion pages. And the way that I would do is I would come into my Thrive dashboard and go into Thrive Leads. And then I've got this Get Leads now as what's called a lead group. And if I open up that group, you can see that this allows me to create ribbon pop-ups, which would be ribbons across the top, light boxes, which are the pop-up boxes, widgets, which are those thin little boxes on the side, the ones go in the footer, the ones that slide in like you saw on my homepage, ones inside of your content. You can insert the scroll mats, all the different options. There's many different ones. And what's nice about this is you can create all these on one page. And of course, you kind of come in and create them. I'm going to go ahead and pop in. So for example, my light box, if I can take a look at it, let's look at the slide in. If I go to the slide in, it's going to pop up and it's going to say, I've got it saying display 45 seconds after intent. And so that's how often it's going to wait 45 seconds before it's proposed to someone. It's going to show it only once every 14 days. So if you come back to my site tomorrow or the next day, you won't see the form again. But after 2 weeks, it would show it to you again. And then it slides from the bottom right. And I can come in and edit this, and it would kind of give you an idea of what this particular slide in looks like. So here's the slide in. I was able to put an image here, whatever text I wanted, and the email. And of course, what's nice about this is when I put in the email, I was able to do connect with service, and then basically take actually code that comes in from MailChimp or Constant Contact, paste it in, and that way the email and first name get linked and go right into my email account. Now, one of the things I want to tell you about that's really nice with the Thrive Themes software is that whenever you're setting up your MailChimp logins and those type of things, you can set it up to do double opt-in or single opt-in email list. Because one of the first things that happened to me when I was over on the Nutrition Plus Me site, and I was actually really kind of going through and monitoring how this list builder did. When I first started this thing, I had the list builder turned on with the double opt-in. And of course, that's, let me kind of show you where that's at. I'm gonna go into one of these particular offers here. And let's see here. Okay, so here it says services, and I've got it hooked up to MailChimp is the one I use. And all these services you can use these things with, but I've got that hooked to MailChimp. And I have it telling it it's connected to MailChimp. It goes into my Nutrition Plus Me special offer list. It puts them into the general category. It makes them a prospect. But see where it says disable double opt-in? By default, MailChimp actually requires people confirm the email, but I found out that sometimes people were often about 30% of the time they were filling out their email address, but they weren't confirming it. And so they were never going into mail list. And so I wanted to, by turning this flip a switch on, this allowed me to disable that particular feature. And now you can use single opt-in or double opt-in, either one. So again, it's really up to you. A double opt-in is going to give you a higher quality list, but the single opt-in gives you a higher quantity list. And of course, if people don't like your emails, they can always unsubscribe. So I decided, since I was really measuring, to get the most to use that. And that was a feature that Thrive Themes uses. Sumo Me does it. I was using a site called ConvertPlug yesterday, and it didn't let me have that option. So I decided not to use that particular thing because having the opt-ins. Now, let me kind of give you, I'm going to give you some more examples of this. So this is Rebecca Hines' site, a really neat site, and she does some awesome marketing. But when I first looked at this, you know, she had a really nice lead magnet over here, which is she's done a toxin-free cleaning guide. And so that's a phenomenal lead magnet because she really goes after the toxic-free community, the moms that want to keep toxins away from the babies. And so it's a very highly desirable lead magnet. But of course, what I told her I didn't like about it was that I had to come and click on it to get it. So once I clicked on it, it would come over and it would take me to a form where I could come in and subscribe to the list. But what it didn't let me do was just, it didn't boss me to and ask me to do it whether I wanted to or not, which is I knew would make a much bigger difference. So what I did, let me go ahead and do the same thing. Now, see what happens when I move my mouse off of the page? As soon as I did that, it popped up this new light box that we added yesterday, which looks good. The free guide, learn how to make your own cleaning products. Email first name, download guide. But again, see, it dimmed her site. Everything behind it is dimmed. It's created a modal pop-up. And this is going to be much more likely to get it. And of course, what we're using there is something called exit intent technology, which is really cool. Let me clear the history again. I'll kind of explain to you how that works. So I'm going to do history, clear recent history, and I'll clear everything. So I'm just clearing my cookies so it looks like I'm a brand new visitor to our site again. And so what this does is this particular thing is a lot of times people will come into a site, they click, they lean on this, and then as soon as they click, if they don't like what they see, they immediately hit the back button and go back to wherever they came from. Well, right now my mouse is on the 5-day challenge. As soon as I move up to hit the back button, what's going to happen as soon as it passes that thing, automatically it knows I'm about to leave the site. I've got an intent to exit. This is one that's exit intent pop up. And it's going to now come up and ask me to enter my name. Now, of course, they can still hit the back button, you know, and they can still, but again, it's like, you know, it's like telling them, hey, here's exactly what I want you to do, because really that's a call to action on what you do. And so having those types of things. We also installed another one on her box. And let me see if this one's turned on right now. But it was then when you went to the green cleaning guide, it would actually, when you read through it and you got 50% of the way through the box, and it would pop up and ask you to subscribe, because we knew if they went 50% of the way through the site that people would do that. So it gives you kind of a good example of how to do that. Now, here's another person that I've just started working with, Slender Spa. So Slender Spa has a site, it's a WordPress site, but again, one of the first things I did is they've got lots of information on their site. They got gift certificates and nice pages and stuff. But again, this site, when you go, there's really no way to come in and capture a lead on it. So what the person will have to do is have to scroll through here. She would have to call that particular phone number, or they would have to come in, and I believe there's a contact page here somewhere. Contact us. So someone would have to come in and click that link, and then they could come in and fill it out and get information. And so we just started working with Anita, and we're going to be taking this and doing all the exit intent technology, really redoing this site. And I wanted to show this to you because probably next time you see it, it's going to look a lot different. We're putting a new theme on the site. We're putting new images for her different things in her particular spa business, because and also this is someone that just signed up for our home business as well, so we'll be adding a tab for that. So again, this is just an option of someone that's got a site that doesn't have any of the capture technology or lead generation into it. And so again, with the traffic that comes there, because she does a great job when you go in and do and you Google spa, or Google butter app, this site comes up. But let's make sure when we get them there, we can capture them. So that kind of gives you an example more of that. Come on, that. So that's just a couple examples of sites. And so again, that gives you an idea of how these capture forms work. You want to design them. You want to capture them. Let me kind of go through and design one for you real quick and show you how it works. So I'm going to come into back onto my site, and I'm not going to do this one. I'm going to do one on. I'll do one on jimfulford.com. All right, so if I wanted to come in and create a brand new opt-in box, really what I could do is just come in. I'm on a particular, let's go back to the lead dashboard, and I could easily come in and let's say I want a box that's going to be a light box. I can just come in, put this, and somebody keeps texting me. I'm going to have to close that out there. So I'm going to say create a form. I'm going to give it a name. And there's my form. And now I'm going to come into the form and design it. And what's nice, it's got all these templates already built in. So all you really need to do is kind of pick the template that looks like you want. Let's suppose I want to use this one. I'll pick that template and hit choose template. And then I would just say, come in and I would subscribe to my newsletter. I'll come in and hook the email thing up. Let's connect with the service and create a connection, with API. And the MailChimp, and I want it to go to Jim Fulford's opt-in. I want to use a single opt-in instead of double. I save that. And then it asks me, do you want to show the name or not on the form? I don't. I can reorder the forms. And I just hit save. And now that's connected this email to that mailing list. And now I can save it and preview it. And that's how quickly it was to create an opt-in form. And then, of course, what I would need to do is just decide where I want to show it at. So very easy to create these with the tools that we've got nowadays, and they're very effective. So what I want to do in my last 10 minutes is I want to switch gears and go to the automation side of things. So I'm going to pop over to my other browser, and I'm going to go into MailChimp. Now, MailChimp or Aweber or GetResponse or any of those, that's where you would actually go in and have your mailing list. And so you can see I've got, if I go into this particular mailing list, I've got 206 subscribers on this list. I've got 15 subscribers on this list. What you can do is I want to kind of go from beginning to end and show you what you would do to create an email autoresponder that would respond to one of these lists. So I showed you how easy it was to connect up to the mailing list. Now let's show you what you can do. So I'm going to go into automation, and I'm going to create an automation workflow. And first thing I pick the list, and I'm going to do this one for the Jim Fulford list. And then it asks me for what type of automation do you want. You can do a welcome message, a welcome series of messages. A lot of them are built in. I'm going to just pick a custom and hit next. And then it's asking me the name of the workflow, and I'm going to say this is the Blog Building Bootcamp test workflow. And again, don't expect you to remember all this. I just want you to kind of see the process so that you can understand how you would go about creating a workflow. So the workflow, and you can say, all right, what's going to trigger this workflow? Well, I do want it to trigger every time somebody subscribes to the list. I could also do it when they actually click a link, when they record a purchase, when I do a merge field changes, a lot of ways to do it, but normally you do it when they subscribe to the list. So I'm gonna hit next. And then it's gonna say, all right, you're all set for your workflow, add an email. So I'm gonna add email, and it put me a nice email in there. And I'm gonna design the email. And what's the email subject? You know, I'm gonna say, welcome to our mailing list. And who the name the email is from and my email address. Next. It's going to ask me to pick a template. So I'm going to come through the template. I'm going to pick a simple template. Okay, and so here's a nice simple template. And let's say I want to put an image up top. I'm going to drag an image over here on the top of my email. And I'm going to pick one of the images I've uploaded. I've got an email header. I'm going to just pick that. And there's an email header. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that particular box. I'm going to come in and type up some gobbledygook over here. This will be what will be going in the email. Save that. In the footer, I'm going to come over and edit stuff. Footer. This is where your unsubscribed information stuff would go. And I'm going to save that. So here's our sample email. Now, of course, normally what I would do then is I would preview it and test it. And that way I can actually send the test email, and that's going to send it to myself, and I can go over to my email inbox and take a look at what the email looks like and make sure I like the way it looks. Once I'm happy with the way it looks, I will go to my next step, and it says what day should it be sent? Every day as soon as possible. It's also got some segmentation conditions. Let me talk about that for a moment, because that's something that we do a lot in this particular thing, and I'm going to see that's probably the email come in. So there's the email with the gobbledygook, as you can see that popped up. All right, so what the segmentation is about is that I have my list segmented because I have some people opting in for getting leads, some people opting in wanting a webinar training, some people opting in for different things. And by doing that, I can just pick a different segment in my list. And so if they pick the online branding segment, I would send this email, or the get lead segment. I'm not going to do that right now for segmentation, but because most of you won't do that. But as you can set it up so that you can really watch what page people click, what forms they click on your site, and you can send different emails. And so I have different emails that got different conditions. I'm going to then hit save and continue. And so the email is all set up. If I wanted to add another email, I could do that, but normally I do just one welcome email. And so they're saying, all right, your list is ready, your tracking is ready, your authentication is ready, your workflow is all good, your email is ready to go. Go ahead and start your workflow. When you start, it's going to say you're about to start the workflow, and I start. And now what's going to happen, it says rock on, your automation has been created. So again, it took me about 5 minutes. And of course, when you create your own email, it's going to take a little longer than that. But that's the whole process from beginning to ending on MailChimp for creating an automation workflow. Now, if I go over and subscribe to the list, so if I pop over to jimfulford.com, let's do it on my other browser over here. What's going to happen is, see, there's that pop-up I just designed a moment ago. I'm going to say, Jim at, I don't know, I've got several emails I've already subscribed. And so it's subscribing to lists. Or if I come over here to do a free download, and this was another name, I can say Jim, and I can subscribe with a different email address. And download the report. Both of those are going to fire those email things, and of course it's saying, hey, you're already on the list, so that one's not a good one. Let's go back and do a different email address. Let's do Jim at Vision Plus. About me. Try that one. Okay, and here it took me to a confirmation. Thanks for check your email inbox. Open the confirmation email. And again, because that one was set to do double opt-in. And so what's going to happen in a moment, you're going to see in my email box, there will be emails that will come over from MailChimp, and it will ask me to confirm my email address before it's going to send me the download link. And that's because I had double opt-in. On the single opt-in form, it wouldn't ask me that. It would just send me the information. So that gives you an idea for that. So anyway, let me go ahead and pop back over here. sharing. Well, that was a lot of information. And Patches is still here. See, Patches is a good boy. And so anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. And again, don't worry too much if you didn't understand a lot of the technical stuff we went through. Because again, what that was really designed for you is to show you that, number one, if you want to get emails, you need to have a pop-up box. And you want to make sure you tell the people exactly what you want them to do. There are many technologies out there to do that. And of course, I've used many of them. And of course, you really want one, and you can really, as you do it, you want to A/B test them. I mean, just like we do with our ads, every week or so, we write new ads for our campaigns and we see which ones work better. You can do the same thing for your email forms. And if every few weeks you will optimize it and change it and pick a new one and test them against you, so your email capturing will get smarter and smarter, better and better, to where you get a much higher conversion rate. Of course, you're never going to get everybody, but you're still going to be able to do that. And of course, capturing the emails is really the base part of marketing. Is growing leads, and capturing emails is the way to do that. And of course, once you capture the emails, very easy to ask them to follow you on Facebook, to join campaigns, to follow you on Twitter. And that's just the beginning part of all your social media campaigns. So anyway, hope you guys have all enjoyed the Blog Bootcamp series. This was our fourth, and sorry about the big breakdown in the middle of the webinar. So I will send out this last video to all of you guys, because I know some of you would have missed the second half, and I'll actually send out first half and second half. I'll probably combine the two videos together and then let you just go right to one video and watch it. So I'm technical, I can do that kind of stuff. So we'll get that done. But anyway, it's been great working with you guys over the past month, getting your blogs going. I hope you enjoyed the email session tonight. And of course, just because the month's coming in doesn't mean you can't just reach out and help say, Jim, need help, and I'll be glad to help you guys, because that's really what I want to do, is make sure I can help you guys be successful in whatever businesses you're in. So anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. Have a good evening, and we'll catch you later.